Radwave is an app for interactively exploring the RF spectrum. To use it, you'll need an Android device with Radwave and the RTL-2832U driver apps installed, a USB on-the-go cable, an RTL-SDR, and an antenna. Connect them and you're ready to go. And now let's open up Radwave, and I'll give you a quick tour of the capabilities. At the top, there are three main buttons: the menu button, the settings button, and the start button. Let's start under the settings button. Here you see all of the settings that are configurable through the RTL-2832 app. Currently, the center frequency, gain mode, and gain are the only three that are configurable with Radwave, and I'll be making the others modifiable in future releases. So let's go back to the main window here, and let's get things started. So as you saw through the settings, we're tuned to 94.5 megahertz, and the auto gain mode is enabled. And immediately we can see a really screaming loud FM radio signal at 94.7 megahertz. So you have the analog portion of the signal here, and you have the HD portion of the signal on either side of it. So the first of three unique things to Radwave is that we can pinch and stretch the waterfall display in order to zoom in and out in time. So as we stretch way out in order to zoom way in, we can see all the transient behavior of these signals much more easily. And you may also note that this display looks like it's a little bit more noisy than when we were zoomed way out. The reason for that is Radwave is averaging all of the power spectral density windows through the entire display. So as you're zoomed way out, there are more windows available to average, and so there's less effective noise. As you zoom way in, there are fewer of these PSD windows available to average, and so the display appears to be a little bit more noisy, but you can see the transient behavior a whole lot easier. Now, when we're zoomed way in like this, it's obviously really hard to kind of keep up with what's going on, so we can pause the display and then move back in time to find the signals that we're interested in. So if there's something that's really short duration and you want to be able to look at it in more detail, you can pause it and look at it as you want to. And when you find something interesting, you can tag it and then give it a description. So here we have analog and HD FM signals. Once you save it, you can then share it through third-party apps like Facebook or Twitter, or you can email or text, however you want to share it, you're welcome to do so. We can now go back to the live display, and there's a couple different options. The first is that we can either play from the current location, or we can press the green button at the bottom here to go to the current, the most recent samples that are available. So let's first play from the current locations. You can see that the time axis here didn't jump way forward. Right now we're at about 110 seconds into the collect. If we press the green go to now button, it jumps forward to the most recent samples in the collection. So this allows you to not miss any of the samples that are there. While we were looking at the tag and adding the label and everything else, Radwave was still collecting all those samples. You haven't missed anything. You can go back in time and you can look at them. The second thing that I want to show you guys is that if you change any of the RTL settings, in this case the center frequency, that Radwave shifts the entire spectral plane in order to maintain frequency alignment between these changes in the settings here. So now when you go back in time, you still know what frequency you were at, and it makes sense with the more recent data that's at a different center frequency. So this makes it a lot easier, especially as you move between larger center frequency shifts. You can really go back and look at them all and understand what portions of the spectrum you were in the past and what you're in now. So the last thing that I want to show you is that when you stop processing, since all of the data is stored locally on your device, you can still continue to analyze it. So you can either press the red square at the top to stop it, or I'll just unplug the RTL-SDR. We'll give it a couple seconds for it to finalize all the data within the databases. And at this point, we can continue to look through our data set. And what's really interesting here is, since everything is stored locally, we can go back to collections that were done on a previous day. So a few days ago, I was looking through the FM band again, actually saw something pretty interesting here where there are these ripples through the HD FM portion of the signal, and you can actually see it through the analog FM signal as well. So my guess here is this is due to multipath reflections, possibly off of an aircraft or something like that. For any of you who have looked at using FM for passive radar, we know that these types of effects are certainly measurable, but I'll be honest, I haven't really seen this effect in a waterfall plot until now, which is kind of cool. Radwave is currently available for download on the Google Play Store, so feel free to download it and check it out. I'll also be continuing to post more videos, especially as I add in some new features. In the meantime, have fun using Radwave to catch waves. Thanks. Have a good one.